And away we go. So before I start with the episode, just a few things I have to make to settle something and just clarify in case, well, firstly, quality of the audio is certainly the first thing you would notice. The headphones, which I've been using in the last recent episodes I've recorded, the microphone for my main headphone headset, it broke. And I tried testing my main microphone to see if it still worked, even though the microphone got bent, the structure of it got bent. Turns out it doesn't work anymore, and that's quite unfortunate. Now, if this actually happened when I was just starting my podcast, I would be losing it. I would be, oh no, it'd be a total disaster. But I've handled it quite well, apparently, and that's great. I've handled it quite well. So, I think the main headphones that I've been using in the last recent episodes, either on the Only Show and the Opinionistics, it's gone now. The microphone doesn't work anymore, so that's unfortunate. And second, although not relevant to the episode that we'll get into, but it is worth noting, at least, given I've said a couple episodes ago about the future chapters of my attempt to get into entering the world stage. Everything is an act and everything's an illusion. At least it's not. I'm not saying it's true. I always say that for everything. But it doesn't make it any less false. Actually, that didn't make any sense. Anyway, I just stumbled across a familiar face that I used to go to drama school with. He's a cool lad, very creative. May not always be on the same wavelength. There's no denying that. I'd be lying if that is not the case. It certainly is. It's hard to ignore. But despite ups and downs, the roller coasters, we had good moments together. And even when going forward into the future, my progress, my future chapters in preparation for my entrance to the world stage, there's going to be moments with me and this lad that I will certainly remember for a very, very long time. Even if there haven't been that many good moments, it will stick with me for a very long while. I would say the same thing with anyone that I went to school or even college with, and possibly this school as well. During my time in school and college, no matter how bad things get, things will only get better. Even if there haven't been that many good moments between me and particular people in my life, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. I didn't. I'm just finding it into the habit of preparing myself for the worst. When the worst thing happens, I know how to handle it. I know how to handle it. So, alright then. So, with all these additional information out of the way, let's see what me and the lads in the group have said that we've seen on our respective pipelines. Social media platforms are trying to radicalize us and trying to corrupt our present selves. Guys, it's a joke. So, guys, why aren't you laughing? Alright, so before I started recording this episode that you're listening to right now, I was making voice notes using the headset that I have used in previous recent podcasts up until now, because the bend of the microphone was bent, the structure of the microphone was bent. I tried to test if the microphone still works, and it didn't. There's the old headphones that I used before the previous headphones that I used in the recent podcast episodes. That's still working despite years of not being used. So, yeah. Not much audio with the first two. it's just me testing the broken microphone that has been snapped. Oh, alright, so, okay, actually, if this is the method, I'm trying with the headset that I'm recording with the episode right now. My phone just went off. Anyway, I was just trying to see what the audio sounds like, and it's not the best audio quality. What's important is it can be heard, and it's close enough. That's all that matters. People can still hear me. For me, in my opinion. Alright, so next, I sent a YouTube short by the channel Vessel Logia, and I could say what it is about. I'll just let the short explain itself. Why has it rained every day in 2026? Since January, rain has fallen somewhere in the UK every single day. But 2026 is tracking as one of the wettest years in recent record. But the real surprise isn't in the west, it's in the southeast. Counties like Kent and Essex are usually among the warmest and driest parts of England, averaging around 600 millimeters of rain a year. Yet in 2026, totals there are already well above seasonal norms. That's unusual. Western Britain expects heavy rain. In Snowdonia and the Lake District, annual rainfall can exceed 3,000 millimeters. Atlantic systems strike here first. But this year, those systems haven't moved on. All jet stream has kept low pressure fronts circling the entire country. So what's normally a western pattern spread east. Britain hasn't been under constant storms. It's been under a jet that simply hasn't shifted. So it moves. The rain doesn't either. And the thing is, even while this has been going on somewhere in the United Kingdom, just a few hours before me starting this recording, I woke up this morning, it was raining, and the day before that, it was also raining. Actually, I wasn't just raining the day before today, it was also raining heavily. It was the torrential downpour of the rain was so strong, it actually sounded satisfying. One of those ASMR videos you listen on YouTube. That's the kind of level of strength of rain that we're getting. Although, may not be the best thing in the world if you're actually going outside to do something outdoors. If you're indoors, on the other hand, hearing the raindrop on the conservatory roof or bang against the windows, it sounds nice. It sounds very satisfying. So yeah, and also a friend of one of my family friends has also sent a social media post regarding the fact that the UK has been raining somewhere non-stop throughout 2026. So that is, yeah, this is going global. Everyone knows that the UK has been raining non-stop since the start of 2026. When will it end? That is a good question, and nobody knows. And the thing is, given that how dry and how warm the southeast of England is, if they're getting rain, then somewhere in West England, Wales, and somewhere in the west of Scotland, and of course somewhere on the island of Ireland, they're going to get loads of rain, much more than what the southeast is getting, southeast of England. So yeah, it's been raining a couple of days ago, and even today, before I started recording a few hours ago. And given the jet stream that's currently running across the UK right now, I doubt that the rain will go away. Not unless until the jet stream moves somewhere else in Europe. The UK is still going to get loads of rain, and Ireland too. Yeah, I can't say Ireland is in a better situation either. In fact, most times Ireland would get more. The Republic of Ireland would likely get more rain than, or just as much rain as somewhere in the west of England and Scotland. Madness. Next, I sent a screenshot of an Instagram story on the Polymarket Instagram account. On one of their stories, showing a screenshot of a Twitter X post from the Polymarket Twitter X account. And the caption of that Twitter X post on the Instagram stories read, Kamala Harris' chances of winning the next US presidential election. Risk11 responded saying, Project Bluebeam. He's not wrong. In a way, he's not wrong. Project Bluebeam. Oh boy. But in all seriousness though, even if Project Bluebeam does go ahead, I seriously doubt Polymarket is in on this. Because Polymarket is just a predictions betting market. They're a platform where people can bet on real life, real world predictions and how likely they're going to happen, if they're going to happen, and the variables of other things happening and their chances of them happening as well. There are prediction markets on anything in this world today. And because of the accuracy of those prediction betting markets and the amount of money people are putting on to say that this is going to happen and that's going to happen, people have said, not everyone, but a few people would say that it is the next new alternative to mainstream news or mainstream media news. I'll leave it at that. Now, mainstream media is still going to exist. The prediction markets serve as a very viable alternative to what mainstream news currently floats about in today's world. And the thing is, there's always going to be gaps that mainstream news outlets or legacy media would be reporting on that Polymarket won't pick up. So there's that for consideration. Okay, so next, Eric Taylor has sent to us a Twitter X post by the account Mr. Nobody. The caption of that post reads, Kim Kardashian is promoting lab-grown meat. All these people have sold their souls to the devil. And Eric did not respond anything in direct response to that. He just sent a link. I haven't watched it. I was doing other stuff at the time. And also, the boys of family friends came over to play Mario Kart. That was pretty cool. Took my mind off all the troubles I've been going through the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I'm just watching the video now, and look at that. Community note popped up. And the community note of this post that Eric just sent to the chat reads, the video shows Kardashian promoting Beyond Meat, a plant-based meat alternative, not lab-grown meat, which is produced by culturing animal cells. Okay. Even when meat Kardashian is promoting is plant-based meat, not particularly animal cells grown in a lab, I know there's going to be people arguing that what Beyond Meat is doing, not everyone, but people would argue that what Beyond Meat is doing with the meat they're producing that doesn't involve giving the meat directly to the animals, I wouldn't say unethical. They would say it's a crime against nature. But what happens to getting animal meat the natural way, where you just unalive them when they least expect it and get the meat directly from there, instead of using animal cells to replicate the meat as accurately as possible. And even if this plant-based meat does taste identical to the actual animal itself, I have a few questions. I'm not going after anyone doing this kind of research. I'm just curious. What actual meat Beyond Meat with the plant-based meat alternative as opposed to the actual meat from the actual animal? It's not to say that in a small percentage of that plant-based meat alternative may not be the actual meat. There's going to be something else. It's still a full meat. There's going to be something else in there. Not as harmful, but there's always going to be something. Pretty sure the integral structure of the meat is intact. And they, even when I say that, people are still going to say, oh, this is not okay. This is a crime against nature. What happens to killing animals in all way? You know, I cannot do that. I don't have anything else to say. But if people want to alternative plant-based meat, okay, go ahead. I don't want to say about. This is not. That's not to say that everyone could be on board with it. There's always going to be farmers somewhere around the world that will say, what's the point in eating meat out of animal cells? Why do we just slaughter the animals the old-fashioned way, like people have done years and years ago? And that's still happening. And still gets the job done. I'm sorry to all the animal lovers hearing this. I understand the frustration. Just, unfortunately, that's how life is, and nature. Anyway, that's all I have to say on that. So yeah, if that community that wasn't there, I would not have noticed, to be honest. So that's one thing I'm grateful for, that the community exists on Twitter. Even when people are against some ban for his opinions in today's world, he's done many achievements in companies he has run during the years he was running something. I don't know what else. Make up your mind, have your thoughts, figure it out, and so on. And, that's all there is to it. There hasn't been much in good in recent times. Although I can go up to see anything else that hasn't been reported. And a very long while ago, I sent a screenshot, not over from Instagram, but the screenshot in question was certainly a screenshot showing 8 correct posts. It's always correct. It's not CANZUK International.com or the CANZUK International. The caption of that post by CANZUK International reads, imagine speakers with work and travel, trade, and endless job opportunities for Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. Overwhelming support is building for closer ties between these four nations. And then, in the next paragraph, shows the countries of Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom show them what percentage of their citizens approve having CANZUK become reality. Canada, 70% of public support for CANZUK to be formed. In Australia, public support is at 72%. New Zealand, 86%, which is very high. And finally, the United Kingdom, public support amongst people in the UK is at 68%. Which, not saying is a good thing. So hearing 68 gives me so much relief, because there's always going to be people running on about 69 saying when 69 comes about. And then don't get me started on the young children that bringing their hands up and down saying 6, 7. It might seem it was funny the first few times when people said 6, 7. Now it's getting annoying. Down the line, it then started getting very concerning, because now there are children, not just young children, but also teenagers, also doing the 6, 7 thing. Not just fun, but it is a psychological trigger. When everyone says either 6 or 7, they do the hand gesture children and teenagers do when people hear 6, 7. Again, it was funny at first. First few times it was funny. Now it gets to a territory of being very annoying. And then eventually, children and teenagers can't control it. It becomes very concerning. these people are, these young people are very chronically online. And that's coming from someone who is also chronically online. But at least I do the best I can to ensure I actually think about what I'm saying and why am I thinking or saying these things. So that's just me, though. I'm not gonna get people involved. I'm not going to tell people to do stuff. They want to do stuff. They can handle it on their own. I assume children and teenagers these days, they should be smart enough to figure things out on their own. Even if there are people online making the most wildest and dumbfound statements, there's some people that will be smart enough to figure things out for themselves. Just gotta give them time and enough in the public sphere of the internet for them to understand what they're getting themselves into. So, yeah. Okay. I've sent a dump of Instagram real photos onto the group chat. I'm not going to play all of them because, well, it's a lot. But one post that Taylor sent from the account speaker underscore zone underscore, the caption reads, Nick Cannon posted this on social media. It's one big part. The picture is that with shows Nick Cannon riding on a pizza slide surfboard, not a surfboard, but it's literally a pizza slide used as a surfboard. Nick Cannon is wearing a tuxedo with pizza slice tinting on top. And of course, Nick Cannon, while surfing on a pizza slice somewhere in the ocean, in the Mediterranean, maybe in Italy, by the background, he's also eating a slice of pizza. Now, people are going to be like, oh, what's the big deal? Isn't Nick Cannon enjoying pizza? Or is he a big pizza fan or whatever? Eric responded to that Twitter X post, saying, at this point, they're putting it in our faces to let us know that they're all permanent in disenfranchised. And even after hearing that, people still don't know what these people what they're talking about regarding this Twitter post. You know the FC file. I try not to bring this up, even when headline news comes up. Here we are. City politicians, movie actors, movie directors, other well-known public figures, well-known and well individuals and elites who were involved in events organized by Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not talking about the operation that is filed with these celebrities and elites for. I'm talking broadly about people who on the island that Jeffrey Epstein owned during his time as a free man before being convicted and prosecuted for the crimes that he's been accused of, which a lot of people are hearing about now, and there are a lot of people, including the victims and the families, very pissed, frustrated too. When people say pizza, no, I don't want to get into that, because, in my opinion, it's inappropriate and disgusting. If anyone's curious, fair enough. There is information regarding names for elites at that part, the Epstein files. I'm not sure how else to describe it. If you hear celebrities talking about different foods like pizza, pineapples, cheeses, when they're not just saying food involved into it, what the foods in which these celebrities, politicians, and elites are talking about, they are code names for something else. You replace those names of food with words like girl, boy, children, or something else. Anything else. I can't think of anything else. But the point of making it, there's a code name for something. They replace pizza with child, girl, boy, etc., or something else that shouldn't be used in any context in which blood is sorted, it's disturbing. All you got to do is replace one word with another word and see if the context changes. And if the context changes, what's the difference in the meaning between the two? And is the new meaning after from the original more disturbing and more disgusting than the original sentence which parties and politicians are talking in? That is what people online are going to be talking about. What I'm hearing, what are these people doing? Like I said a few episodes ago about GST files, I feel sorry for those victims who had been violated by Jeffrey and henchmen or his women on that island. Yeah, I don't know what I say. I can't stress that enough. But I can't think right now. And I'm trying, despite the fact there are so many news stories bringing this up again and again. Everyone knows by now. When everything has been aside, the 17 years lost to the victims at a young age. And the horrors that affect the victims to this day, and in the next few years for quite a long time. So that is actually, you know what? I did not to go to the video when I said, what did we get that today? You know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to find them again. Okay. One of the videos, the good. This guy talking about, this guy said he was called racist and anti-Semitic. Talking about the garbage food that Americans are eating, even though the fact, in the words of the guy in that legalized into land. And although he didn't say what this group of people is, if you have to watch that video, actually, I don't want to get down that way. The point that Larry was making in that video was talking about how garbage the food is in America and be called racist and anti-Semitic for it. He goes on to say, how can I be anti-Semitic if being Semitic or a Semite is not something that the accusers aren't even close to? He's not complaining or disagreeing with the people who claim to be Semitic. He's agreeing with these people that the food in America, most of them, is absolute garbage. It's filled with junk. That shouldn't be eaten or even edible to begin with. That's what we should think about it. I think America is awful. It's really a small sense of food. It doesn't have the artificial flavorings and other stuff. When my mum was in North Carolina, she brought back all the things that has a capitalized U in a circle and then a D next to it, which tells me that the ingredients for that food, the Oreo thins, is approved by the Orthodox Jews of America. I think it's the Union of Orthodox Jews of America. And the standards amongst Orthodox Jews is a much higher standard than the U.S. government. I have to tell you something. But back to the lad talking about food, the garbage in them. There's nothing else to say. He's absolutely right. And not many people talk about it. Okay, next video. Anyway, this is a short video. This explains it all. Hold on, why is it not playing? It's not playing. Oh, I wanted to play that video. It's a short one, but I can't. So I have to explain to you what that video is. There is a text on top of his head reading, "Tax the rich." However, this man in that video I sent to the lads, he goes on to say, "Not tax the rich, tax the poor, because they're not working, they're not doing anything. Why should people who are working hard are the ones to be taxed and not the people that aren't doing anything?" And that's video. He doesn't say anything else. And that's literally what he said. He said, don't tax the rich, tax the poor. I'm not going to agree with him. Yeah. In a technical sense, it makes a good point. Whilst I understand that people can't get work in this day and age, there should be at least something for people to do, even if it's stuck at home or the work that's to be done is minimal. So long as people are doing something that contributes to the local communities in which they live in, there isn't much for me to complain about. So yeah, I was getting myself into. And as of yet, that's all of the recent stuff sent in the group chat and some older stuff that I haven't discussed in previous episodes. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into the news, or at least the rest of it. New Mexico launches investigation of forced sterilization of Native American women. New Mexico is set to investigate the troubling history and lasting harm of forced sterilization of Native American women by the Indian Health Service in the 1970s. The New Mexico legislature approved a measure for state departments to examine the scope and impact of these coerced sterilizations on women of color. The White House, a Native American woman shares her experience of being sterilized without full consent after an emergency surgery in 1972 at age 22. So unfortunate. I can't say I know much about Native American people and the tribes that resided in what is currently the US. Before European colonizers came about, why force people to do something they don't want to do? What is the purpose behind these sterilizations? Why sterilize these people? Could it be to prevent expanding the bloodline of these people? And if there was anything else to do, guess, I would say, however, that is all I can think of. I don't know what else to say on this. One thing for sure, forced to sterilize Native American women, or having Native American women being forced to be sterilized, or at least being forced to do anything, is awful. I'll say that. The fact someone's been forced to do something, especially if they don't want to do it, yet it's been done on them anyway, is massive. Outrageous. I hope there is compensation to these women and their descendants as well. Unfortunately, global summit holds for secure, trustworthy, and robust data. On February 21st, delegates at the New Delhi summit issued a declaration calling for secure, trustworthy, and robust AI, signed by 86 countries and 2 international organizations. Participants said the declaration aims to promote security voluntary measures, and energy-efficient AI systems amid rising demand, according to the 5-day event. The summit drew tens of thousands, including top CEOs, to the 4th annual meeting hosted by a developing country, focusing on multilingual AI translation, job disruption, and tooling AI research capabilities. Analysts had warned ahead of the declaration that the summit board has made concrete commitments unlikely the United States did not sign the 2025 summit statement, showing divisions among nations. Looking beyond the summit, the declaration describes generative AI as an inflection point while urging deeper work on potential security aspects. Yeah, even if it was the case that everyone's on board, or the case that everyone is not with the idea of AI progressing, there's going to be a balance between the two sides. Say, one side saying, oh, AI is great. The technological advancements will help us greatly in our progress in every sector. And then the other half will say, AI is a threat to our society. They're taking our jobs. They're using too much electricity. They're consuming too much water. They are a burden to our society. And then people like me hearing those two sides, I'm going to be resorted to sitting on the fence with AI. Not that I want to. I want to see one side being more lenient than the other side, being phased out in the minority, or at least have a clearer picture of what people are saying about AI. It's very split, very evenly. Something else, one thing I'll also add, other than the progressive advancement of AI, it's not just about what the technology is going to be used for. What's also important is what people intend to do when using the technology. The new AI could have the greatest purpose that benefits everyone positively. However, if some bad meanie-weenie or bad guy gets a hand of this new AI technology and uses it for evil to do evil things, that's bad. And eventually, this AI technology could then be used for evil if it gets into the hands of evil people. Likewise with AI, which the majority of its purpose and intention is used for evil. If it gets in the hands of good people, then people will try to use AI technology to be used for good, even though the primary purpose from the start was to be used for evil. It doesn't matter what the technology is or what the purpose it serves. What's important is the intention of using the technology and applying it in the real world. That is what is very important to point out. We must always be cautious, be on our feet, because you never know what's going to happen. So unfortunate. Yoo-hoo. Mario takes controlling stake in French AI data center operator. Exaion. What's wrong with that, right? I said what I said. That's that. Mara acquired a 64% stake in French computing infrastructure operator Exaion, expanding into AI and cloud services. Bitcoin miners pivot towards data center revenue. Mara Holdings has completed the purchase of a majority stake in French computing infrastructure operator Exaion, deepening its push into artificial intelligence, AI, and cloud services. The deal first agreed in August 2025. Pulse Ventures gives Mara France a 64% stake in Exaion after required regulatory approvals were secured. The Bitcoin miner said in a Friday announcement, French energy giant EDF will remain a minority shareholder and continue as a customer of the business. The investment also creates a broader alliance. NJJ Capital, the investment vehicle of telecom entrepreneur Xavier Niel, will acquire a 10% stake in Mara as part of a partnership with Mara. Governance of FDR will reflect the new ownership structure. The company's board will include 3 representatives from Mara, 3 from EDF, Pulse Ventures, and 1 from NJJ. Alongside Exaion, chief executive and co-founder, Neil and Mara CEO Frank Keel will both hold seats on the board. Bitcoin miner. It's been a while since we talked about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. Those were the days. Is it going to happen? Yes, it certainly will. And I know people that don't like it. And that is okay. They don't have to get involved. Even at that point, even with those people having those opinions, governments around the world are going to implement some kind of business, as well as standards and regulations for how people are allowed to hold on to cryptocurrencies and how to transaction between purchases using cryptocurrencies. It's going to come to that point with a handful of countries, not every country, but there's going to be a few countries that will, at some point in the next few years, they're going to pass legislation. They're going to pass new laws, rules about what people can do with cryptocurrencies, how people can handle those cryptocurrencies, and the spending limits that people use their cryptocurrencies to buy whatever stuff they want. And everyone wants to get involved in cryptocurrency. Okay. I will warn you though, it is not for the faint of heart. That is certainly not easy to get into cryptocurrency. I'm not telling people to get involved. I know people do not want to do that. That is okay. If you are going to get involved in cryptocurrencies, you've got to be careful. You have to understand how the infrastructure works and how values of cryptocurrencies change over time. They change in real time, 24/7, 365, non-stop. And if you are committed in investing in whatever cryptocurrencies that exist, for those who do want to get involved, don't think of the timing that is important. Think about how much time you spend observing and researching the companies, the organizations, and different entities involved in the cryptocurrency space. I will say that. So back to the story about Mara. With control stakes in French AI data center operation, if companies that are publicly owned privately, or even government entities getting involved in anything crypto, you know that at some point there's going to be new laws passed in regards to cryptocurrencies. What platforms are approved to hold cryptocurrencies and the limit of transactions with cryptocurrencies. A moment in time will happen, just not now. Ajinomoto Foods North America recalled nearly 3.4 million pounds of frozen chicken fried rice, including Trader Joe's products, over glass concerns. Ajinomoto notified FSIS after 4 consumers reported finding glass, with FSIS not explaining how it entered the product. Affected packages displayed establishment numbers P156 inside the USDA mark of inspection, including Trader Joe's chicken fried rice 20-ounce plastic bag, with best by date of September 8, 2026 through November 17, 2026, and Ajinomoto yakitori chicken with Japanese-style fried rice, 1.53 kilogram, cardboard package. Customers should discard or return recalled products and contact Ajinomoto Foods North America Consumer Affairs 855-742-5011. Customer care at AjinomotoFoods.com. FSIS recommends. Retailers will remove nearly 3.4 million pounds of affected products sold nationwide in the US and in Canada, spanning multiple retailers, with best by dates through November 17th, 2026. Quite the bug, I'd say. That is not good. I hope that the people who had accidentally eaten that chicken fried rice are still alive and in good health. Because if it severely caused some serious damage to those people, then whoever provided these foods are going to be in for quite the hefty lawsuit. Thankfully, nothing like that happened. Whoever these people were that were affected, they are okay and they are unaffected, and they are in good health too. But how do these things happen? Why would these manufacturers or packagers allow these things to happen? People can get sick from these things. Oh, but whatever makes the moolah, then so be it. Well, that's a terrible saying. It's awful. What about the quality that is worth the price that you're paying to buy these stuff. Going too deep into this, buggery, buggers. The buggers are in, the buggers are out. I'm talking about bugs and insects and arachnids. I don't know why, but that's just what comes to me. The US wins its record 11th gold medal at the Winter Olympics. At the Milan Cortina 2026 on Saturday, the US Olympic team won its 11th gold medal as Kayla Kuhn, Connor Curran, and Chris Lillis took the mixed aerials title. A deeper US roster helped as Connor Curran, first-time Olympian noted among Team USA depth, competed this year with 38 more medal events than in 2002, posting a combined 325.35. The trio secured gold as Curran's high scores included 120.36 and Lillis's decisive 117.19, back double, full. The result raised Team USA's overall medal haul to 30, with Norway earlier reaching 17 gold medals, and Team USA could still add more in the Sunday's men's hockey against Canada. Chris Lillis now stands as back-to-back mixed aerials champion and returning 2022 team member, while Connor Curran was a late addition after Quinn Dellinger's knee injury, defending US strength in mixed aerials. So the USA are doing pretty well in the Winter Olympics. Not as good as Norway, but they're doing pretty good. They're doing very well. And that's for Team GB. Not too bad. They're doing pretty well. It's not spectacular, but it's something. So yeah, that's it for the story. Good for the US. 11th gold medal. Bravo. And that is it for the episode.